Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is another live session of Parsai Immigration Services, and I'm Al Parsai. This live session is about the latest updates in the world of immigration. And depending on the platform that you are watching this, you may have the ability to add your questions to this platform, and I'll be able to answer your questions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I teach immigration consulting at Ashton College. I'm an adjunct professor at Queen's University, the author of 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada, and the CEO of Parsai Immigration Services, which is located in downtown Toronto. And we have had clients from 55 different countries in this world. And of course, today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through different aspects of immigration in Canada. I want to share the latest immigration news with you. Just a quick question because you may. Right now, we are actually live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, and live on Twitter. In some of those platforms, you cannot ask your questions and you can only watch the video. On some of the platforms, you may ask your questions. So my request from you is that if you are on a platform and you can ask your question, when you're posting your question, you also mention the platform that you are using, so I know which platforms allow you to ask your questions. This is a new streaming service I'm using, so I want to make sure that I can serve you the best way possible. And if you find that there are many flaws with this system, we'll try to find another way. Okay, without further ado, let's talk about the latest immigration news as of today, September 18th, 2022. So, the number one thing that I have to tell you is that the topics discussed in this video and channel, or the comments, responses that you will see here, do not constitute official advice. We cannot be held responsible for any inaccuracies. Follow the videos and comments at your discretion because, again, this is for educational and information purposes. So, my name is Al Parsai. I hold a Master of Laws and a Master of Arts. I'm an RCIC-IRB, meaning that I can represent clients to IRCC, the Immigration Authorities, CBSA, the Enforcement Authorities, IRB, the Immigration Refugee Board of Canada, which is a court-like system, and also ESTC, Employment and Social Development Canada, for LMIA applications. I'm licensed since January 17, 2011. My business is in downtown Toronto. As I mentioned, I'm an adjunct professor at Queen's University, Ashton College. I teach at Ashton College since 2016. I've had clients from 55 plus countries. I'm the author of 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada, and I've written many articles and delivered many live sessions, recorded sessions about immigration to Canada. The first thing that I want to share with you is a new online asylum application. So, the government of Canada decided to move because the old online system that they had for asylum seekers, that online system was not working. By the way, if you are on a platform that you can post your questions, please post your questions. Hi, Ankit. So, okay, Ankit, are you from LinkedIn here? I just want to know on which platforms you can post your questions. So, whichever platform you are on, please let me know what platform is that. So, what the government did during COVID-19, they tried to create online platforms, and actually, in fact, the plan is to make every single application um, online, even the permanent resident applications. So one of the kind of applications that they went online, it was asylum applications. They created an app for asylum applications, but that app had many issues. So on September 13th, 2022, they created a new online asylum system, which replaces the online portal. This is for applicants that they are already inside Canada and they want to claim a refugee status, and you need to create or log into your IRCC special portal and then submit the application. That portal is not just for refugee claims. That portal also supports TRV applications, but these TRV applications will be definitely reviewed by Chinook, and I will talk about that. You can even apply for study permit and transit visa through this platform. And if you have already submitted an application for a citizenship certificate in Canada, you can download your e-certificate from this platform. So that's an interesting twist. I There was a learning curve for me to learn how to use this new portal for asylum seekers. But at the end of the day, there are two forms. If you are a practitioner, you need to know that you need to fill out two forms for asylum seekers, not just the use of representative form. There's also a declaration form, and you need to fill them out both, and then you need to attach them together and upload them when you are submitting your application. I just took a screenshot of this new platform for your information, but obviously there is a lot more than just one screenshot that I'm showing here. And this is the screenshot. You can see it without my face covering it. The big one is the express entry draw. So, just as a reminder, the government of Canada had stopped express entry all program draws for a federal skilled worker class. They had stopped it for more than 1.5 years, and for Canadian experience class, about 10 months. For federal skilled trades, more than, again, 1.5 years. And the only active program, if you will, was those people who were invited by provinces under the express entry system. So this changed in July of 2022. Since July 6, 2022, the government is running no specific program uh, draws, and the scores are still extremely high, to the point that the first draw, the lowest score was 557. This has changed, and they have run multiple draws. Actually, I believe they started from inviting 1,500 people, and in the last draw, which happened on September 14th, 2022, which is, by the way, draw number 231 from the day that express entry system was introduced in 2005, sorry, 2015. This is draw number 231. As you can see, no specific program was selected. This means that whether you applied under federal skilled trade or federal skilled workers or Canadian experience class, or you were invited by a province, for example, province of Ontario, British Columbia, Nova Scotia, or any other provinces, then you would have been included in the draw. They invited 3,250 people. The lowest score was 510, but this means that not everybody who received 510, they were invited. People who were more than 510, they were definitely invited, but some of the people who were 510 were not invited. The breaking rule was January 8th, 2022 at 10:24 UTC. In other words, if you applied on or before that time and date and your score was 510, they invited you. If you had applied after that time and date and your score is 510, then you were not invited. And in fact, I have a client that he is exactly 510, but unfortunately, he was not invited because of this tie breaking rule. Uh, Anybody who is under 510, they were not invited at all, regardless of when they submitted. If we look at the table of the CRS scores, you can see that in the pool of express entry, we have, as of course, September 12th, 2022, we have 238,273 people that they are in the pool of express entry. This is a huge number. And moreover, if you look at the table, you will realize that about, roughly speaking, about 70,000 of these people, their scores are 451 and above. So simply put, if your score is less than 450, it's pretty much almost impossible they invite you. There are two possibilities you may be invited. Number one is that a province selects you. If the province nominates you, then you will receive up to 600 points, and that will boost your existing point. And because of the new points that you have, you will be selected. The other situation is where you are in the pool of express entry and the minister comes with a specific criterion, and based on that criterion they select certain people from the pool of express entry. However, keep that in mind that this policy has not come into force yet. It will come into force in the first quarter of 2023, and gives the minister to the authority to come up with a specific criteria that could be based on the job, based on the nationality, based on age. We don't really know what would be the criteria that the minister will use at that time. But based on that, they could pick and choose people from the pool of express entry, despite the fact that their score is lower. Right now, the situation we are dealing with is only for people that they have higher score. If you don't have the good score, then you have no chance of being selected. As I mentioned, the only exception is that a province will select you, and that, of course, the odds are not very high. Okay, so the next thing that you need to know is the use of Chinook. So for those of you who don't know what Chinook is, let me first explain this a little bit in more details. So Chinook is an artificial intelligence system, or a computer program, let's put it this way, that analyzes your application and then presents a list of different pieces of information to an immigration officer to assist the immigration officer in quickly and, to a great extent, objectively decide on the fate of an application to Canada. Chinook has been around since 2018. The government of Canada was very secretive about Chinook, and they didn't mention that what Chinook does and how is it going to affect people, until somebody filed a lawsuit against the government, and that's when they actually told people that there is such an application that processes applications of visa to Canada. And this is mostly focused on temporary resident visas. So whether you're applying for a study permit, work permit, or temporary resident, regular temporary resident visas, they will use Chinook to assess your application. We received a list of a breakdown of which offices in Canada they used Chinook, and that's thanks to Lexbase and Mr. Richard Curlin, who is a great immigration lawyer. He filed an ATIP request with the government of Canada. He receives that data, but remember, the data that I'm showing to you is only for a period of 5 months. Sorry, 5 weeks. So only from January 1st, 2022 to February 8th, 2022. If you look at the numbers here, you see that the government processed more than 44,000 applications in the list of temporary resident visas with the help of Chinook. And the office that was the most active in using Chinook was CPC, or Case Processing Center, in Ottawa. They used Chinook for processing of close to 16,000 applications. And the other offices that they were active is Paris, Ankara, and other provinces like Bogota. These were very active in terms of processing the applications with the help of Chinook. We have an article on our website, settler.ca. By all means, please visit that and read it. We have the complete report. Again, we got this table from Lexbase, which is published by Richard Kurland's office. Okay, I have great news. I want to let you know that our company is the first immigration consulting firm in the world that we managed to become a certified B Corp. This is huge for us. Of course, this is based on what we did in the past. We were audited, we were interviewed. I think the process took more than 1 year to go through different channels to see our audited financial reports, going through our activities, interviewing us multiple times for sometimes several hours. And then eventually they allowed us to become a certified B Corporation. Just to let you know what a certified B Corporation or a B Corp is: a company verified by B Lab to meet high social and environmental performance standards, transparency, and accountability. To achieve certification, a company must demonstrate high social and environmental performance by achieving a B impact assessment score of 80 or above, and passing a risk review. Just to let you know, the Canadian companies who entered their applications for B Corp, their median points is 50.6. So it means that a majority of applicants, they didn't pass. The passing score is 80. The next one is that make a legal commitment by changing their corporate governance structure to be accountable to all stakeholders, which we did, and exhibit transparency by allowing information about their performance measured against B Lab's standards to be publicly available to their B Corp profile on B Lab's website. So this is what we have done. Our score was a whopping 99.2. I can give you just a quick comparison. Business Development Bank of Canada, or BDC, which is a huge organization, they got 93.2. Nespresso Global got 84.3. And there are three law firms in Canada, not immigration consulting firms, but law firms, that they are already B Corp. And those law firms, they got 82.6, 93.7, and 85.2 respectively. So as you can see, our score of 99.2 is very high. And in fact, we could get a higher score, but we reached a point that they said, we have audited you enough, you have enough scores, so we don't go ahead with further auditing. That's why we stopped there. I'm very proud of my staff and our clients, and I'm thankful that we managed to do this. Getting back to the immigration news, there are some new improvements to the immigration system. These are based on speech that the minister gave and promised that they work on these areas, and those areas are reducing wait times for immigration applications, expanding online applications for permanent residents, and you actually need to know that by the end of October, every immigration application will be online. Keep that in mind. We're talking about permanent resident applications, not temporary resident applications. So they are expanding online applications for permanent residents. The next one is that they are expanding the application status tracker. It means that when you visit your profile, they give you information. Hi, Ibrahim. Thank you. Good to see you here. So the other thing is that they are trying to give you more information on your profile when you visit your profile to see, well, for example, what is the progress of your application. That those progress bars so far they have not been very effective, but at the end of the day, it gives you an idea of how your application is progressing, and that's a good to know that they are expanding that service to other immigration and visa applications that they didn't exist. And number four is that they're providing better information to clients. That's their effort to be um, more informative. And number five is that they are modernizing the citizenship program. Right now the citizenship program is in shambles, but this will soon hopefully change. And one of the things that one of the great immigration lawyers said once, Mario Bellissimo, is that right now what we see is wait times, a chaos in the immigration system, but it's like a rock bottom. And what we are hoping is to see progress from this moment, to see more and more people being able to see better days. So we are not in the best system in terms of immigration to Canada, but what I can tell you is that this will quickly change, and in the next coming months and years, hopefully we will see a much better system for processing visa and immigration applications in Canada. This one is not a news, but it's one of my latest articles that I published. It's about removing an enforcement flag. So, to let you know, when you enter Canada, sometimes the first thing first, you encounter something called the primary inspection line. So, regardless of your nationality, when you are at the port of entry, we have a primary inspection line in which an immigration officer will ask you certain questions. And these are the employees of CBSA or Canada Border Services Agency. These are border officers. They ask you a bunch of questions and then they decide whether to let you inside Canada or send you for a secondary examination. And secondary examination could be time consuming. And of course, in secondary examination, they collect more information. They decide whether to allow a person to enter Canada, to issue a removal order, ask them to sign a voluntary departure, or other things. So at the end of the day, the secondary examination is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a time consuming and annoying thing. Sometimes the system is in such a way that you will be flagged. And by being flagged, it means they add a note, an officer at one point in time, they add a note to special database. That database is called IPIL, or Integrated Primary Inspection Line database, that they mention that this person needs to be sent to secondary every time. We call that an enforcement flag. And if you have an enforcement flag, every time you are at the port of entry, they will send you to the secondary. So by default, the enforcement flag should be for foreign nationals or permanent residents of Canada, but sometimes by mistake they may continue to flag a Canadian citizen which they shouldn't. But at the end of the day, if somebody has an enforcement flag, they need to file for an ATIP from CBSA to find out what happened that they were flagged, what is the cause of their flag. They try to address it, and then the next time that they go to the port of entry, they present enough documentation to CBSA and ask them to remove their enforcement flag. So this is this article, which you can find it on settler.ca, focuses on removal of enforcement flags. And if you are interested, please read that article. And if you know somebody, or if you are facing an enforcement flag, and every time you try to enter Canada, you have issues in terms of um, being sent to secondary line, etc., you can get in touch with us. We can help you with removing your enforcement flag. It's not a guaranteed situation, but it's very likely they will remove the flag. Keep that in mind, that removing a flag does not mean that they necessarily erase the whole thing. So the cause of the flag will still remain under the GCMS records and other databases. It's just that they remove it from IPIL. It means that when the first officer that sees you and inspects you, that officer won't be informed about that flag. And because they are not informed, they won't send you to a secondary examination. However, if that officer finds something else that triggers sending you to secondary examination, that could on its own reactivate your enforcement flag again. So you have to be very careful after removing your enforcement flag. For the lack of better words, you need to behave yourselves after the first removal of the flag. Okay, that's my presentation for today. Thank you very much for watching the presentation. And just as a reminder, you can visit settler.ca. We have a journalist, Andrea Nera, and Andrea publishes the latest news about immigration to Canada every day. Her job is to visit different websites, Twitter, IRCC Twitter accounts, other Twitter accounts, get in touch with the offices of the immigration authorities and other entities to collect information, and then she publishes news articles pretty much every day, sometimes multiple times in a day, about different aspects of immigration to Canada. So can by visiting settler.ca, you can inform yourself about the latest developments in the world of immigration. On top of that, you can also visit my articles on settler.ca. I do my best to publish at least one article per week about different aspects of immigration. If you are a practitioner, if you are an RCIC, I have recently created a new category called RCIC Digest, which I try to answer questions by regulated Canadian immigration consultants about immigration to Canada. And there are other articles on settler.ca. Obviously, if your intention is to hire a professional, by all means, please get in touch with us and um, basically get in touch with us and ask your questions. Or if you want to hire me for a consultation session, by all means, or you can hire us for your immigration process, your refugee claims, your immigration appeal hearings, etc. My name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I teach immigration consulting at various institutions. And please, if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel, enable notifications. And thank you very much for those people who posted their comments here on Kate and Ibrahim. And the rest of you, see you next week. I publish my live videos. I will be live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, which is Toronto time. And I also try to publish more videos during the week and articles during the week. See you soon.